Hello everyone, I'm Akash Srivastav, your law mentor, and today I'm going to discuss 10 most important legal reasoning topics for your CLAT 2024 examination. So students, you must be wondering that in the last lap of your preparation, which all topics are important. When we talk about in class also, every student says, sir, which are the important topics that we cannot afford to skip. So the whole objective of this session is to discuss those topics that you cannot afford to skip that are most important when we talk about your CLAT examination. So without wasting time, let's start the session. So students, when we talk about important topics, it becomes very important to understand the trend of the examination. So when we talk about CLAT examination, you have seen in past year papers also, they are focusing on static topics that belongs to tort, contract, constitutional law, or criminal law, but they are relating those topics with the current affairs topics. So whatever happened in this year related to law, they are connecting those topics with the static piece of information or static core concept. So first of all, it becomes very important to cover all the bills. So all the amendment bills that you need to cover will be cinematographic bill, forest conservation bill, Jan Vishwas bill, and registration of birth and death bill. So when we talk about this particular area, it becomes important because these are new for everyone. Okay? They can test you whether you have an aptitude to read any particular new law or not. Second important topic that you need to cover will be LGBTQIA. So you all know that this was in news for a long period of time. So first of all, you need to cover sex and gender difference. Then you will have to cover the right to marriage of these communities, and then other rights and protection that have been provided to. Okay. Next, when we talk about the third topic that you need to cover or you cannot afford to skip will be essentials of marriage and divorce. So you will have to cover from both point of view, from Hindu point of view also, from Muslim point of view also. So essentials of marriage in Hindu and Muslim law separately. Then you will have to cover ground for divorce. Then you will have to cover power of Supreme Court under Article 142 in divorce, because there was one particular judgment in which Supreme Court used Article 142 to grant a divorce on a ground of irretrievable breakdown of marriage. Because when we talk about grounds of marriage under Section 13 of Hindu Marriage Act, so irretrievable breakdown of marriage is not provided, but Supreme Court used Article 142 to grant a divorce. Next important topic that you need to understand, because when we talk about defamation, it some or the other manner it happens to be in use. Okay? So first of all, you will have to cover the definition. Then you will have to cover what all pointers, what all you have to prove before the court of law if you're filing a suit of defamation. Then there are few defenses available that can be used, that will be fair comment, criticism, or opinions. Then there will be privilege. You need to cover each and every point in detail. Then you will have to cover Article 19 ka conflict, that is right to free speech and expression, and defamation. Next important point that you need to cover will be international relations. So when we talk about CLAT examination, you will find one or the other passage from international law. Okay? So first of all, you need to understand, you need to read about sources of international law. Then you will have to cover the theories of international law. Then you will have to cover relation between international law and municipal law. Then you will have to see whether these laws are enforceable in nature or not. And then there is one particular current affairs news related to international law, that will be Kaveri water dispute. Next important topic that you need to cover will be patent law. Why exactly I'm saying so? Because there's an amendment done in 2023. Then after reading the amendment, you'll have to read what exactly is patent monopoly. Then you will have to understand what is the criteria on which all criteria patent is granted. And then you will have to understand the infringement of patent law. Next important point will be rape law. The topic will be rape. When we talk about this particular crime, it happens to be in news every day. Okay? So first of all, you will have to understand what is rape, definition of rape under Section 375 of IPC. Then you will have to understand the concept of marital rape. Then you will have to understand minor's consent for sexual relationship and POSCO. So even if a minor consented for sexual relationship, whether that would amount to rape or not, and the laws that have been provided under POSCO Act. Then you will have to understand what exactly is the current scenario when we talk about the current law related to promise to marry. If someone promised you to marry and then you entered into a sexual relationship with that particular person, whether that would amount to rape or not. Next important topic that you need to cover will be right to practice one's religion. So again, this news or this particular area of law happens to be in news every day. So first of all, you will have to understand the articles that have been provided in the Constitution of India related to religion. Then you will have to understand that conflict with personal law. So there will be few personal laws that have different customs and traditions that allows certain individual of their community or their religion to practice in a different manner as compared to whatever is mentioned in the Constitution of India. Then you will have to understand it from the current point of view also, current affairs point of view also, that is Gyanvapi mosque dispute was there. Then you will have to read about Place of Worship Act 1991, and then in end you will have to read about Article 32 and relation, how exactly one particular person can file a suit before Supreme Court of India under Article 32 in relation to their fundamental right to practice their own religion. Next important point that you should read will be about reservation. Why exactly we'll have to read about reservation? Because there was a new bill passed, that was Women Reservation Bill 2023. You will have to read about that. And then the static portion, the provisions in Constitution that have been provided in this aspect. 10th important topic that you need to cover for your CLAT examination will be basics of contract law. Why I'm saying so? Because when we see the past year trend of CLAT examination, they are focusing on static knowledge also. So they are asking questions from tort law also, contract law also, constitution law also. So in the past, in the 9 topics that we have covered, we have mentioned or we have discussed constitution law also, we have discussed criminal law also. So now it is important to understand that you will have to read about contract law also. So what exactly you need to read? First of all, essentials of formation of contract, how exactly it can be formed. Then frustration of contract is one particular concept, important concept. Then there will be void and voidable contracts, then promissory estoppel, and then in last you will have to read about offer and invitation to offer. So students, this was 10 important legal topics that you need to cover for legal aptitude section in CLAT examination. Thank you very much. This is all from my end. I hope the session was informative enough. Best of luck.